Hey everyone, it's Peek. Welcome back to the channel today, and welcome back to another Pokemon Unite video. So, as you guys can see, I've been grinding. Been hopping up on that leaderboard. We're currently in the top 100 of the Masters players, so pretty happy about that. And I wanted to preface this video with that information because I want you guys to know that this is coming from a place of experience, and I'm not trying to be boastful. I'm just letting you know I do understand the game pretty well and understand pretty much the meta of what items are best. And we are going to talk all about items today. I got a lot of great comments and response on the previous video that I made regarding just the best items that I recommend for attackers, and I'm going to change up some of those suggestions in this video, and I'm actually going to cover all 21 Pokemon that are currently in the game right now, just so you guys can have this information as soon as possible. I wanted to make sure to get this out basically just ASAP so that everybody could start, leveling the right items and kind of know what is best. Now that I've pretty much seen everything there is to see about Unite, I played in the tournament that was last weekend right after launch that we came in third in, and just a lot of high-level ranked games and scrims, so I feel like I'm qualified to kind of give you advice here on which items to build for every Pokemon, generally. Now, of course, I do want to preface this by saying these items are not just going to be 100% of the time the best things to take. I think, personally, for, like, 5v5 coordinated team play, Buddy Barrier is just really too good of an item to pass up for most Pokemon. I do say for most because I do think there's some that just don't get a huge benefit out of it. One of those, for just random example, being Gardevoir. But, this guide is really geared towards just the general public, and basically these items, I think personally, will help you get the most benefit out of your Pokemon that you're playing, that you equip these items on. So I'm going to have timestamps in the video for every Pokemon. I'm going to be doing these in alphabetical order, so if you want to skip to a specific Pokemon, just check the little, bar at the bottom of the scrubbing tool in YouTube app, or if you're just on desktop, you can just click one of the timestamps in the description. So, without further ado, and with the Wind Waker music at our side, we are going to talk about Absol. So, Absol has a passive that naturally increases its critical hit rate. So, of course, you want to take Scope Lens. That's pretty much a non-starter on Absol. And just, you want to take this. I think that Muscle Band does really well, Cinderace as well, gives it extra attack for all of its moves. Every single move that Absol has scales off of physical attack, so you're really going to want that here. The extra attack speed helps as well, and the passive for Muscle Band, while not the greatest for Absol, I think it still helps burst down high HP targets. And then, of course, I'm going to just recommend for general usage, Float Stone. You could also do Buddy Barrier here. I think that's pretty much going to be a common theme for all of these, but if you want to just do a lot of burst damage, which is what Absol excels best at, and also get around the map quicker as a jungler, which is, 100% of the time what you're going to be running as Absol, you will want Float Stone just for the extra speed and the extra attack damage. So, next Pokemon, Charizard. Muscle Band, Scope Lens, Float Stone, similar thing you're seeing from Absol. However, Charizard actually has a passive that can increase its critical hit rate. So again, you're getting a lot of usage out of Scope Lens on Charizard, more so than like other Pokemon, such as like a Greninja that doesn't really have a passive that boosts its critical hit rate. You will want to run Muscle Band. They actually just patched this. I guess it was bugged for Charizard, so that's really interesting. I wonder kind of how that's going to work in the future. Maybe Charizard will be a little bit stronger now that Muscle Band kind of works for it. I think it'll probably be around the same B/C tier, though, Pokemon, personally. But yeah, Muscle Band just really works. You want attack speed on those auto attacks and the extra attack. And personally, I think that you could actually go a lot of things. You could go Energy Amplifier for extra damage on your crazy powerful Unite move, as well as increased recharge rate of that Unite move, which is super good on Charizard because it already charges super fast. So basically, if you think about it that way, you're buffing something that's already very strong, with a percentage, 6% scaling like that, that means like the higher the number, the bigger effect that's going to have. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, 21% damage after you use your Unite move is nothing to scoff at. However, I mean, I think Float Stone really synergizes well with Charizard's kit as the only Pokemon that can auto attack while moving. that extra 3% of speed is just about what this extra 120 speed stat works out to be. You get about 3% extra movement speed while you're in combat, and you know, maybe that's what it's going to take for you to actually be able to chase an enemy down as Charizard. So I wouldn't underestimate that small but maybe sometimes significant movement speed from Floatstone. So next Pokemon, Cinderace. Cinderace, similar kit from the first three. It's pretty funny that they all have the same items. Muscle Band, Cinderace just hyper scales off of attack speed. There's no reason not to take this item. You should always have it regardless of if you're playing in coordinated play or just solo queue. This is the best item for Cinderace. And I think, you know, you could argue probably like a Focus Band and a Buddy Barrier for these other two slots if you were playing in different situations. However, I think for the general public, I think Scope Lens will be super strong. Cinderace is another one of those Pokemon that has the Blaze passive that when it's under 50% health, it will have increased critical hit rate and attack speed, I believe, as well. So Floatstone is just another attack boost as well for Cinderace. I think you could probably switch this out for like a Buddy Barrier, something like that. Yeah, it'd probably just be Buddy Barrier, but it just depends on what you want to do. Keep in mind that Cinderace at level 15 has I think it's like a 494 attack stat. So Floatstone is going to give you approximately 5% more damage on your auto attacks. So I wouldn't underestimate that on Cinderace. So just keep that in mind. The attack bonus you're getting here. And of course, these are all items at level 30, which I don't think many of us have. So these bonuses will be less if you have them at like level 10 or level 20, of course. But, you know, this is the ideal build, the type of items you're going to want to build up if you want to play this character a lot. So Floatstone will give you like a 5% damage boost to your autos just because it's like a 5% boost to your attack, right? So, okay, moving on, Cramorant. Wise Glasses for sure. Cramorant just hits very hard with its moves, and that's basically all it has. Like, Cramorant's whole thing is that it does damage fast, it does damage quick, and it kind of dips out after that. With the exception of its Unite move, which is why I recommend Buddy Barrier for it. Buddy Barrier for Cramorant Unite move is pretty crazy. It's going to give you 40% of your max HP as a shield, which will just make you less likely to die when you're using your Unite move. The issue with Cramorant Unite move, especially now that Gardevoir's in the game, Gardevoir can, you know, launch its very long range abilities, or like a Pikachu as well, can launch its abilities right on top of Cramorant, and it's a guaranteed hit, right? Because Cramorant is locked in place. So the extra shield from Buddy Barrier is going to help you as well as a teammate in, you know, a team fight where you really need to get the full utilization out of that Cramorant Unite move. And yeah, again, I just think like you're going to be using Cramorant's Unite move more as a spacing tool a lot of the time, especially in high-level matches. It's going to be used to create space, for example, for a Rotom to push in, or for you to zone enemies out of the Zapdos pit, stuff like that. So that's really why I recommend Buddy Barrier. You could probably go other stuff. I really don't know what you would go, honestly, since Cramorant really does just kind of act like an assassin in a way. It just needs to get its damage in quickly and then get out. Of course, depending on the build you go, but like none of its abilities are super long range. It really needs to, you know, play safe. I mean, I guess you could go Focus Band or, you know, maybe even special attack specs, but I really wouldn't recommend these scaling, stacking items with the goals for a lot of Pokemon. There will be one that I recommend it for, though. And for the third item, just Shell Bell. Extra special attack, extra cooldown reduction. And I think this will help you stay healthy as Cramorant as well, with the healing on each move used, and that healing scales with special attacks. So you're just going to heal a lot more the more special attack you have as Cramorant, and that's kind of what you're going to be doing as Cramorant. Okay, so Crustle, very defensive Pokemon, definitely great at holding points. It's passive, the lower HP it has, the greater defenses it has. So you're really great at like holding on at that last bit of health. So I'm going to recommend Buddy Barrier, Focus Band, Score Shield for this exactly. Actually, I think these first two are self-explanatory. Buddy Barrier is broken, and Focus Band will just give you extra levels of defense, as well as, you know, some HP recovery as you're getting hit over time. Do have to take some water there, sorry. And there's two reasons why I take Score Shield here on Crustle, or why I would recommend it. I personally don't play Crustle that much, but Look at that HP. 450 HP, that's a lot. That just scales even more with your Buddy Barrier, and of course the Buddy Barrier HP bonus also scales with the Score Shield bonus. And I think as Crustle, especially if you're most of the time going to be going Shell Smash, you get that extra movement speed, you're able to basically sneak in a quick goal with Score Shield and get out. I think this Pokemon really does well at that, really excels at that kind of playstyle, more so than any other Pokemon because it has Shell Smash on such a low cooldown and you're able to get out quickly after you've scored your goal with these big HP bonuses and the, of course, 10% HP shield from Score Shield that you get while you're channeling a score. And this can really just help distract opponents. You know, I think a lot of people freak out when they see that people have Score Shield. So I think if you run this on Crustle and with just its huge defenses and huge HP pool, you will definitely throw off some enemies and get in some very easy goals that let your team kind of push an advantage. Next up, Eldegoss. So Eldegoss's heals and shields scale off of special attacks, so I recommend Wise Glasses for sure. It's a very good item. All of Eldegoss's abilities scale off of special attacks, so keep that in mind as you're building items for it. And of course, since this is a support Pokemon, you want to make sure you're alive all the time. Focus Band is a broken item on Eldegoss. It just makes it even more unkillable as it already is, and the same thing goes for Buddy Barrier. It adds HP, this adds defenses, this heals you when you're damaged, and of course we all know what Buddy Barrier does. It gives you a huge shield as you're using your Unite move for you and a buddy. So yeah, this is 100% the move for Eldegoss. I really wouldn't change literally anything else here, unless maybe you were like wanting to go Float Stone, but you're really not getting a lot of use out of this. I highly recommend you just play a little bit smarter as Eldegoss, play a little bit safer in terms of your positioning, and definitely go Wise Glasses. You will see a decent amount of benefit. You know, it's not huge, the marginal increase that you get from special attack on your heals or your shields, but it can always make a difference, and I think for a Pokemon like this that scales off special attack, it just makes sense to take that. So, next Pokemon, Garchomp. Garchomp, as you guys know, crazy damage. It has a passive that once it attacks 5 times or gets like 5 of these stacks from using different abilities like Earthquake, Pulses, you can just attack super fast, faster than any Pokemon in the game. And, well, maybe with the exception of Cinderace once it uses 2 of its moves in succession, if you were to ever go that build, which you always go Faint, so you wouldn't. But anyway, Muscle Band is definitely the move for Garchomp. It just helps you shred targets even more. Float Stone really kind of helps a little bit with Garchomp's main issue, which is just sticking power. Unless you have the red/orange buff from Bouffalant on Garchomp, you have a really hard time sticking to enemies, and I think that's like one of Garchomp's biggest weaknesses right now, is it just has no sticking power. Once you've used your dash move, either Dragon Rush or Dig, you're really not able to do much in terms of locking opponents down, so you really depend on your teammates for that. And I recommend Buddy Barrier, honestly, for this 3rd slot. And I think you could go Focus Band. You could go so many things on Garchomp. You could honestly go like Assault Vest. You could go Score Shield, Rocky Helmet, even if you wanted. I would personally just go Buddy Barrier, probably because it's broken. But, you know, I think you could definitely make a case for Focus Band, maybe even Score Shield as well. Just because, you know, these extra defenses and the healing for Garchomp will like just help you stay healthy in those very long engagements where, you know, Garchomp really pops off in a very extended team fight. And what Focus Band really helps you do more than any item in the game, I guess other than Buddy Barrier, is just stay healthy and take less damage in a sustained fight where Garchomp's going to thrive. So if you're playing Garchomp, I would probably go Buddy Barrier Focus Band for this last slot, but, you know, you do what you want to do, of course. Moving on for Gardevoir, I showed these items in my video yesterday, and after playing around with Gardevoir even more and talking with some friends about it, these are definitely the items you want to go. Now, you'll see, like, this is the one Pokemon that I'm just, like, not going to recommend Buddy Barrier for. Because Gardevoir's whole thing is that just, like, you have to execute these enemies so quickly. Gardevoir has one of the highest damage outputs in the game in terms of burst damage, and you just want to do as much as you can. So, first off, we're running Wise Glasses. Makes sense, right? You want as much special attack as possible. Shell Bell, even more special attack. And most importantly here, at level 30, of course, you're going to get 4.5% cooldown reduction, which is quite significant, actually. And you'll get a little bit of heal after every ability. And the same thing is going to go for this Energy Amplifier. And you will do more damage after you cast your Unite move, which for Gardevoir is an incredibly potent move. You basically cast a black hole on the ground, and you can use either Psyshock or, you know, any of your moves, really. Psyshock or Future Sight or Moonblast or Psychic, depending on what moves you're going, and just blow up all the enemies that are in that center of the black hole before it, like, pushes them out. So basically, Gardevoir's Unite move sucks enemies in and then pulses them out after it's finished. But, like, once they're sucked in and clumped together in that black hole of doom, basically, that Gardevoir casts, you're going to get 21% more damage on not only your moves, but also the damage that's happening to enemy Pokemon that get stuck in that Unite move. So this Energy Amplifier, I think, is just probably the perfect item for Gardevoir. It really also ensures that you're able to get at least 2 Unite moves per game with the extra energy gather rate, which is basically just Unite move cooldown or charge rate. So yeah, I think Energy Amplifier totally makes sense. I wouldn't go Buddy Barrier. This is probably one of the few Pokemon that I will actually say, like, legitimately, you don't need Buddy Barrier on this Pokemon, because if you need Buddy Barrier, you're pretty much dead already, because Gardevoir is such a very backline focused Pokemon. So that is definitely the items you want to go for Gardevoir. Okay, Gengar. Similar thing, Gengar scales off special attack. I highly recommend Wise Glasses and Shell Bell. This will just keep you healthy as you're literally just diving in with Hex to an enemy team 1v5, as Gengar players do. And for your third slot, you can go a number of things. So, like, if you're really feeling gutsy, go special attack specs. Like, why not? You know, if you are able to get 6 goals off in the game, you're going to be just blowing up everyone as Gengar. However, I don't think it's too practical to do that, especially at higher levels where people just defend goals so well. And if you don't roam for the objectives and you just focus on getting these, like, little one-off scores on the side, your team is going to lose. So, you could go Focus Band, you could go Buddy Barrier. I probably wouldn't go Buddy Barrier. Honestly, probably just, like, Focus Band. It's really hard for Gengar because, like, it really just needs to do its damage and get out. It doesn't really provide much support for the team. 0 CC after you lose Lick, you know, at, like, level 5, I think you lose Lick, or maybe level 7, actually. Not positive, but tough call on Gengar. I mean, maybe you would take Float Stone, because the thing about Gengar's passive is it moves faster when it's out of combat, so maybe you could go that. I don't know. Bit of a tough call on this one. I would probably just go with, like, Focus Band, or just straight up max out your special attack and just count on blowing up the enemy team with the Sludge Bomb Hex combo. That's basically all you can do as Gengar. Moving on. Greninja. Very versatile in terms of items you can build. I think you can still go Scope Lens on Greninja, even though it doesn't really synergize well with any of its abilities. You definitely want to go Muscle Band. The attack speed for Greninja is just 100% you want to take this, especially since your boosted melee auto attacks also do percentage max HP damage. So, like, if you get a boosted auto attack off on, like, a Snorlax in melee range, you're going to be doing a ton of damage. I think Buddy Bear is really good for Greninja. It just helps it save a friend. And a lot of the times, like, Greninja's Unite move is really not good. And it's probably just best used when you're trying to, like, help out a teammate, get some extra damage in, last hit a Zapdos, or an important objective like that, stuff like that. So that's what I would say for that. And, I mean, for this item, you could maybe justify Float Stone instead of Focus Band, but, like, Greninja's whole thing is that it's kind of the king of 1v1s. And with Water Shuriken, Sustain, or Surf, I guess depending on how you build it, but you're going to have to sometimes be in melee range, and you will take some poke damage from that, and Focus Band just helps you kind of shrug that off more as Greninja. I really think this is the item you should be going on it. It's just really strong. You could justify Float Stone, or maybe even Score Shield, honestly, if you want to be a little bit sneaky with your Smoke Screen, getting in those stealth goals behind enemy lines. You know, I think, like, yeah, you could justify Float Stone, Score Shield, but at the end of the day, these are probably my core items for Greninja as a very, you know, as you guys know, very avid Greninja player. So, moving on, we got Lucario. Lucario is so crazy. Lucario is such a good Pokemon, And I think that Float Stone probably really synergizes with it. It just allows you to stick to Pokemon and have that little bit extra movement speed, and Lucario does really well like anywhere in the map. So, you know, if you're going Jungle Lucario, Float Stone will especially be helpful. If you're not going Jungle Lucario, maybe you want to go like a Muscle Band instead. I think this might provide you a little bit more benefit in lane, so, you know, you could go that. It just depends on kind of where you're at as Lucario. I think Buddy Barrier, again, is just a broken item, and for Lucario, just staying alive is the most important thing, because your abilities do crazy damage regardless of what items you're taking. The thing about the offensive items in these games, or sorry, in this game, is that they really just don't contribute a lot of extra damage. Your abilities pretty much have like their set damage amount, and of course like some extra damage from items on like a Gardevoir or a Gengar will boost your damage by a bit, but it's not significant enough to like throw away Buddy Barrier for Lucario. I think like these are really good items, and maybe like Muscle Band instead of Float Stone, depending on how you like to play. So yeah, I think I'm feeling good about that Lucario one. Similar situation to Machamp. You'll see it's the same items as Lucario, with the exception of like I did put Float Stone in here instead of Buddy Barrier. I think Machamp, like, if you guys have played against a good Machamp, Machamp is capable of 1v5ing, like just straight up. If it hits like 3 or 4 Pokemon with its Unite move, it can really pop off. You definitely want attack speed. You definitely want Focus Band just to stay healthy as you're going deep in enemy lines and, you know, suplexing people with submission, stuff like that. And Float Stone just gives you that little bit of extra movement speed, as well as allows you to rotate even faster. Again, it's that same thing I'm talking about where, like, if you have a high stat and you have a percentage like bonus for it, that is going to be more useful than a low stat with a percentage boost on it. In the case of submission from Machamp, you can get across the map extremely quickly. So imagine a 20% increase in that speed. You're just going to be zooming across the map as Machamp. So I really like Float Stone on it. You could maybe like lose Focus Band for Buddy Barrier or something like that, but I think like Machamp is not so much of a team player as much as it is a playmaker. So these are probably like the solid items for Machamp in my opinion. Mr. Mime. Bit of a weird combo here, but I do, after like thinking about it for a little bit, I do feel good about these items. So you don't get as much use out of Shell Bell as Mr. Mime as other special attackers because, you know, sometimes you're going to be going the wall, and, you know, I'm pretty sure you don't get Shell Bell healing off that wall. I guess you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, if you are landing a move, you know, it's not really you're placing a wall. You actually have to hit the move on something, right? So I believe that Buddy Barrier is actually much like more valuable taking here than a Shell Bell. And in terms of course, like the first item, Wise Glasses, like just get some extra special attack. It'll help Mr. Mime scale up its what is it? Confusion is the move. And or as well as just guard swap if you're using that as well. It should increase the scaling on that. And then I have special attack specs, and that's a bit of a weird thing. I think for this slot, you could go pretty much anything. You could go Score Shield, you could go Focus Band. Yeah, those are probably it. I mean, of course, like, if you know you're going to be playing against a special lane, you could go Assault Vest, stuff like that, if you know you're going to be playing against a Gardevoir or something like that. But I just probably would recommend Score Shield or like Focus Band here, because the thing about Mr. Mime that is so unfortunate is that, you know, it does have those melee auto attacks, so you do have to kind of get in range as Mr. Mime, which will be difficult if you don't really have that extra defense and that extra healing that comes from Focus Band that just lets you stay alive and able to support your team and provide those very nice boosted auto attacks that Mr. Mime has that knock up enemies. So yeah, I think honestly this is probably a really good build. You get some extra damage from your moves off Wives Glasses, you get the support for your teammates through Buddy Barrier, and Focus Band just helps you stay alive and basically keep up the engage and keep up the pressure on the opponents without having to run away. Ninetales. Just straight up damage, pretty much Wise Glasses, Shell Bell. Special attackers are pretty simple in this way. Of course, you're going to get healing off of Dazzling Gleam. Pretty much you always go Aurora Veil on Ninetales, unless you go Blizzard. Of course, you'll get healing off of that for Shell Bell as well, which will, you know, kind of be nice. And I recommend Buddy Barrier as the third item. And again, like, Buddy Barrier is a broken item. It's so strong. It's overpowered in my opinion. It should probably be nerfed. But for Ninetales, you have a very defensive Unite move, right? It's just damage around you in a circle. You can't really engage as Ninetales because that just doesn't make sense. You're more of like a backline attacker providing support and crowd control in the form of your freezes and different abilities for your teammates, right? But people will dive onto you as a Alolan Ninetales, and the best thing you can do in that case is hit that Unite move, get that extra shield, so you can back up a little bit and while your teammates soak the rest of the damage and keep providing benefit and crowd control to your team. You need to stay alive as Ninetales. It's one of like the most important roles in a organized team, in my opinion, is that freeze ability that Ninetales brings. It's unmatched. Like, Ninetales is just such an S tier Pokemon. You really need to make sure you're alive. So Buddy Berry just helps you do that, right? So yeah, 100% those are the items I would go for that. And moving on, Pikachu. Similar items to Alolan Ninetales, however, we're taking Energy Amplifier instead of Buddy Barrier. And the reason we're doing that is because Pikachu is really so squishy. And like, if it gets hit, it's pretty much gonna die. It has very low HP, very low defenses. It's just a small little electric rat at the end of the day. And Energy Amplifier is really going to give you that huge burst damage with your Unite move that you really need to turn the tide with a Pikachu Unite move. Pikachu Unite moves need to hit a lot of enemies and just do a lot of damage. And of course, you can use your other abilities while you're using your Unite move, which is huge. So this Energy Amplifier really, really, really benefits Pikachu. Similar to Gardevoir, of course, you're going to see the same build as Gardevoir here. Very similar playstyle in that you got to stay back. But when it's your time to shine with that Unite move, you're just unloading a ton of damage, and hopefully, essentially, you just wipe out the enemy team, right? So, next Pokemon, Slowbro. Hopefully, we're getting through these pretty quickly. I'm trying as fast as I can. 21 Pokemon, super tough, right? Slowbro, Buddy Barrier, 100%, you want this. If your teammate is getting dove, you use your Unite move, you disable, you know, like a Lucario or a Zeraora or a Gengar. Whatever enemy is diving onto your, like, backline carries, you want to disable them with your Unite move, give them that extra HP from Buddy Barrier so that your carries can keep doing damage in the team fights. It's super crucial that you bring Buddy Barrier on Slowbro. It's such a good item. Shell Bell, you'll see, that we're actually going to bring Shell Bell on Slowbro, which is a little bit different than Mr. Mime in terms of like support-y/tanky characters. The thing about Shell Bell for Slowbro is that its Surf already heals Slowbro, and the extra healing that you're going to get from Shell Bell is just going to make Slowbro more and more unkillable. I'm sure we've all had those moments where we're like, holy cow, like, is the Slowbro ever going to die? He keeps surfing me, he keeps hitting me with these different moves, like, I feel like we're never going to be able to kill the Slowbro. And Shell Bell is going to help you do that. As well as Focus Band. Again, like another healing item. As you're taking damage, you're going to recover a bit of that damage back. 41% of that damage over, over 3 seconds. 14% per second. And just extra defensive. This build is so strong on Slowbro. I really think this is the way for Slowbro, for sure. Okay, so Snorlax. We got Focus Band, of course. Just crazy item. Of course, Snorlax has the most HP in the game, and percentage HP, again, it's back to that similar statement that I made before, right? If you have a big number, percentage scaling is going to affect it even more. So Focus Band is the best case for that, for Snorlax, because you just have a huge HP pool, and you're going to be recovering so much HP from Focus Band as you're taking damage, because you are going to be in the front line. You're going to be going deep as Snorlax with the Body Slam and Shield moves, and you just have to make sure you stay alive. Buddy Barrier, again, super crazy good item for Snorlax, and the thing is, like, you're not only taking this for the Buddy Barrier passive, in this case, you're taking it for the 600 HP bonus at level 30. And again, like I said, pretty much no one has level 30 items, but eventually that time will come, and the 600 HP you get from a maxed out Buddy Barrier is so good, especially synchronizing with a Score Shield, like I mentioned previously. You're going to get 1050 HP between these two items. That just adds more and more to both your Buddy Barrier shield that's given to you and an ally, as well as to the Score Shield bonus that you're going to be getting 10% of your max HP, right, with the Score Shield. As Snorlax, you can really bully very well, and bullying in this game involves a lot of scoring. Similar to the Crustle build, you can very easily, well, not as easily as Crustle, but very easily run up to a goal, get a quick goal in with Score Shield, and the enemies are going to have a difficult time actually breaking your Score Shield because you have so much HP. So this is a great build for Snorlax. I really wouldn't change anything up, honestly, other than maybe like if you don't like Score Shield, maybe take like a Float Stone just for the extra movement speed to get around the map, support your different allies in all the lanes, because Snorlax does best when it's roaming around the map and making big plays. So, moving on is going to be the one Pokemon that I actually recommend a stacking item for, and that's Talonflame. Talonflame plays a lot different than other Pokemon, and I would like to see it be a little bit stronger. I just don't think it fits in the current way the game is kind of played at higher levels. But I do think, in terms of just like a solo queue build, this could be really good. So, first things first, Score Shield, right? This synergizes very well with the stacking items, with attack weight. This will allow you to get off those little mini scores to stack up your item with 6 stacks. And of course, Talonflame's abilities and all its auto attacks and all its damage scale off of physical attack, so it's going to be attack weight, of course. And Float Stone, again, Talonflame has a passive that the higher HP it has, the faster it moves. And that is, again, I think this is like the 4th or 5th time I'm bringing it up. Higher number of speed, more scaling off of a percentage item, right? So in this case, that 20% speed is going to go a lot longer of a way than other Pokemon for Talonflame. And this is just a great item for Talonflame. In combat, movement speed for Talonflame is great as well to get out of situations that are, you know, a little bit risky, because Talonflame is one of the most frail Pokemon in terms of its HP stat in the game. And of course, the extra attack from Float Stone doesn't hurt either. So yeah, this is kind of a fun build. If you haven't played Talonflame and you're interested in doing it, these aren't like the best top tier items that you're seeing in a lot of these other Pokemon being used, but I think this build can actually play super well, especially in like a solo queue game. But of course, as Talonflame, you will want to make sure you're supporting your teammates and helping them out, so you can't just play for yourself. I think that's kind of the trap when playing as Talonflame, is that you would end up like going for too many scores instead of rotating for important objectives to help your team. And I think that's just why we don't see as much Talonflame at higher ranks. So yeah. Moving on, Venusaur. Super interesting Pokemon. Its damage is not very great, but if you build it correctly, this thing has a very difficult time dying. And I think the best way to do that is a combination of Shell Bell and Focus Band. That just allows you to stay healthy as this Pokemon and keep just providing a little bit of chip damage, status effects in the form of Sludge Bomb. Poison, you know, is a very good status in this game. It prevents people from scoring, and as I'm sure a lot of you have seen in your games so far, like if you get hit with a Sludge Bomb from Venusaur and you're poisoned for a while, you are just not able to score for like 5 or 6 seconds. Like the status actually lasts a very long time. So Venusaur is really just good for like kind of poking enemies out, messing with them, and kind of being deceiving in terms of its life. So Shell Ball and Focus Band, they just, you know, allow you to be sustainy, allow you to go in with that pedal dance, be a little bit aggressive, and still do a lot of damage with these 2 special attack items while healing with Shell Bell, right? So, okay, last 2 Pokemon, Wigglytuff, Buddy Barrier, 100%. This is such a good item for Wigglytuff. It's top tier. It's the best pick of an item for Wigglytuff by far. Wigglytuff's Unite move already gives your entire team shields, whoever's nearby you in that area, and it gives them the unstoppable status, which means they cannot be crowd controlled, they cannot be affected by hindrances, which is huge. And Buddy Barrier just adds to that shield. And fixes Wigglytuff's issue of, you know, not having really enough HP at endgame. Of course, you'll want Focus Band because Wigglytuff is a Pokemon that has to go into melee range to hit its little slaps or its dazzling gleams, as well as Sing, or Roll Out, I guess, if you're going that build. And for the third item, I really couldn't decide, honestly. I put Score Shield, but I think you could probably go some other stuff too. The issue is you can't really justify going the special attack items. And again, Wigglytuff does scale off special attack. So I just don't think that its moves do enough damage to warrant taking either of these special attack items, or I guess any of these 3. So you're kind of left with like a Float Stone, which you're losing out on the benefit of the attack, other well, I guess except for your 2 normal auto attacks, but those are pretty useless. And, you know, I guess you could go like an Assault Vest, or that's pretty much it. Like Assault Vest, Rocky Helm. So that's kind of why I put Score Shield here, just as a kind of like filler. It's really kind of hard to itemize Wigglytuff. I guess if you really wanted attack speed or something to get those stun boosted auto attacks, you could go Muscle Band, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think Score Shield can kind of work. You get increased movement speed while using Sing as Wigglytuff, and it's kind of a very good disengage skill as well. So I think getting off your goal with Score Shield and singing out basically just guarantees you get a free goal, and you know, that'll give you some extra XP as a support, which you really need because a lot of times supports fall behind in the XP curve in games. So I think this build works. I actually feel good about that. Okay, last one. This was a bit of a tough one as well, but what I landed on was that Zeraora really thrives off of the lifesteal, or not lifesteal, but just the healing that it gets from every 3rd auto attack. And Muscle Band just helps you attack faster and gives you more attack stat. All of Zeraora's moves scale off physical attack, so this will help you a lot. The same goes for Float Stone. As Zeraora, like, you probably won't be running it in lane that much, and just the extra in-combat movement speed as well as the attack and the out-of-combat movement speed, that will help you roam to different lanes to get ganks off quicker. I think this really works. For this 3rd slot, it was a bit of a difficult choice. Now that I'm kind of looking at it, I would probably lean more towards Buddy Barrier, but the thing about Energy Amplifier that's so good, as Zeraora, your Unite move does crazy amounts of damage. And the thing about Zeraora's Unite move is it's similar to like Gardevoir's or Pikachu's, where you just want to wail out as much damage as possible, you know? And Energy Amp really helps you do that. You use your Unite move, you're getting 21% extra damage on not only your moves, but also your auto attacks, and you're just doing crazy amounts of damage with, you know, like a Discharge is just going to blow up the enemy team. So honestly, yeah, I think I'd stick with Energy Amplifier. I think it makes the most sense for Zeraora's playstyle, and just that very hyper-aggressive playstyle that you have to do in terms of just diving in, going deep with the Unite move, and just basically deleting the entire team with Discharge. So that is all 21 Pokemon currently in the game. Blastoise is not out yet. Who knows how soon it will be out. But for now, those are my recommended items for all 21 Pokemon in the game. Got this out a lot sooner than I thought I would. I just wanted to kind of make it as concise as possible. Unfortunately, this is kind of a long video, but again, there are timestamps in the description or in the little scrub bar if you're on the mobile app. So check those out if you want to go back and look at a specific Pokemon. If you've made it this far, shout outs to you. I really just love you guys so much. The support on my channel and my videos has been insane. We reached 15,000 subscribers today, which is seriously just a number I never thought would happen here on the channel. Like, it's just mind-blowing. Like, every time I look at it, I just can't believe it. And it's all thanks to you guys. It's all thanks to you guys sharing these videos with your friends, you know, posting them on different places. I really genuinely appreciate it. And this community is awesome. You guys are so nice, and you know, keep being kind to each other, and keep popping off in your Pokemon Unite games. Hopefully these item builds help you out. And yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you liked it, leave a like on the video, comment down below if you, I guess, disagree with any of these item builds. I'm sure there will be a lot of people like, but Peek, I do think you should actually go with this item because, you know, that's just what I think. So, you know, again, this is all my opinion, but generally I think these are the items that will give you the most performance on all these Pokemon. So that's gonna do it for today's video. Subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter for basically all the, like, current updates for the game, for news, for leaks, for data mines, all that stuff I'm going to be covering on my Twitter, as well as YouTube videos. So yeah, just stick around, and thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.